Hey everyone, and welcome to session 3 already. Wow. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are from. Good to see you here. Um, just put in the chat that you can hear me okay and you can see me okay. I think you can chat. I know your cameras are off, but yeah, just let me know you are here. Hang on one sec. Hey, Barbara's here. Sandy's here. All good, 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 good. That's what we like to hear. Okay, so we're going to get straight into this today. We've got quite an exciting session lined up. So let me just quickly share my screen and we will get going. Sarah's here as well. So hi, Sarah. Here we go. Okay, so you'll notice if you're on Facebook and not in Zoom with us, that you can join us via Zoom. If you go over to the link that's in the chat, the first line of the comments on there, you'll see that there's a link there. Sign up for the funnel. That gives you all of the replays. For those eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll have seen already there's replays and bonuses already gone in from session 1 and session 2, which is amazing. We've covered, so the first session that we did, if you were here for Tuesday, you remember we covered the dashboard and the menus, and we looked at those in quite some depth as to how to navigate around the system, what the dashboard meant, a lot of the stats and the reports and all of those things that we often just sort of glance past, don't really take a moment to stop and look at. And that was quite an important day to kick off the tour of Zenler. It's an important part, right? To understand what we're looking at, how we get around the platform itself. And Thursday we had session 2, so that was with David, and we went into the page builder. So looked in depth from very, very beginning of the page builder. How does it work? What do the blocks mean? What are different colors of blocks that you build upon, putting elements in, using custom saving blocks, adjusting stuff, how you can put in using the right click of the mouse, and it opened up a whole new world to us. Who knew? And all of these amazing things. There was a little challenge there for you as well that was thrown in on the back of that. Now, we did add in an extra bonus video for the page builder on the replay page. So if you've not yet, that talks about the width of what we do and what we put on there and just how important that is. So we covered a lot there. And today, of course, first day of the month, array. Here we are, and we're going to be talking about pages and blogging. So it's going to be two different areas that we're going to be looking at today, and we're going to go into some depth as to what that means, how we use it. They're questions that come up really quite a lot within the group, and we're going to go through those two areas today and look at those. There may well be something for you to do towards the end, and then we'll obviously open it up for Q&A once the session is over. So let me just check in and see who else is here. Well, there's quite a few of you in today, so that's awesome. Cool, lots of you. Scott's here, Bristol's here, Kim's here, Jacqueline's here. Oh, Avil's here. Oh, Birdie's here. Nice. So we've got loads of you in on the chat. Arizona, love it. Scott's here. Thanks for being here today. No, you're very welcome, Sarah. It's all here to help you. Oh, we've got someone from Costa Rica as well. We are getting very global today, aren't we? All around the place. Let me check Facebook because I know there's some people over there that won't be in here. Peach is here. This isn't showing up as live in the event page, so I had to come into the main group to find you. Let me grab. You would have been given the Zoom link if you were signed up via the funnel. Let me just grab that link and put it into Facebook. Bear with me 1 second. I'm on my own at the moment, so you have to bear with me. Right. Now, the reason I'm going to put it in there as well, if you're just on Facebook and watching, that's absolutely cool. You're going to get everything else that we're doing as well. But I know some people find there's a little bit of a lag on there and they prefer to come directly into Zoom with us. And that's cool as well. Whatever it is that you wish to do, we're really happy with that. And of course, the replay will be pro tip here for you. The replay will always be from a downloaded version of the Zoom recording, not the Facebook Live, because the quality of that's always going to be better. So just remember that when you're doing your own lives and you're doing your own stuff, if you do it via the Zenler live area, you're using Zoom, always put the recording on and download it from there. Far better quality than you're going to get from downloading it via Facebook, going in and downloading their video, which is shockingly not so good. So, Southern New Jersey, USA. God, lots of people coming in from all over the place. Someone from Spain. Who's that? Nikki from Spain. Crystal from Canada. God, blimey, that's quite a few different places we've got there. Anyway, should we get into this? Should we start off as we mean to continue? Let's get straight into what we are doing here. If anybody sees David pop up, can you just nudge me? So I'm going to be on a different screen, and I can add him in as a co-host then. So let me change my screen. Here we go. We're in my dashboard. So this is my education site. This is where I just put all of my nonsense just to go through whatever I want to do, and I can mess about in here as much as I want. So we're going to go first. We're going to go to site, and then we're going to look. What we're going to be looking at is the home page and the pages. Now, lots of people say to us, "How can I link my site to another site? How can I do this? How can I do that?" When we create a site in Zenler, we get very limited pages built for us. So we get a home page, which is very, very basic. So if I can show you what that looks like. So pretty much this is what it looks like. That's what happens when you set your account up. You get very little on it. This bit's been edited, but the rest of it is just, you get very, very little on here as your home page. Now, of course, we have the ability to create as many pages as we wish. I'm going to turn my camera off just so I don't end up distracting you all. As many pages as we wish. And often when we look at how we want to structure our site, we focus on the things that we use. So we create a funnel and people say, well, how do I share the funnel? How do I add that into my site? I want to add extra pages into my, how do I do that? How do I do it easily with the least amount of friction? And then how do I create that so it's a smooth experience for people? And there's a few different ways that we can look at of doing this. And I think this is where we need to go back to stage one. So let me just stop sharing that for a moment. David's here. Excellent. Right. Bear with whilst I just make David a host. I'll put my camera back on while I do this, because then he can answer all your questions. Here we go. Make co-host. There we are.
Hi guys, sorry Kevin.
That's okay. Not a problem. You're here now, so if you could just look after the chat for me, that'll be awesome. We're just about to get started, so and there's a bit of editing for the team to do as well because I've messed up a few bits and whatever. Anyway, we're here. You know what it's like. It's live. It's real. So the first thing that we need to think about when we're thinking about pages before we even go into the system is we need to consider how and what pages we want to be on our site. So obviously people come in and we get the home pages set up for us. We go in and we jump in and we build a course and it creates the sales page, it creates this and it creates that. And we sort of neglect the fact that this is an all-in-one system and we can create this into an actual website as well. We get privacy policy pages, we get terms and conditions pages. Think about any type of website that you go onto. There's more than just, unless it's a direct e-commerce site, there's more than just a homepage, or there certainly should be more than just a homepage. And I think sometimes this is where we let ourselves down as Zenler users, is we don't always look at the possibility of what we can do here. So today, the first thing that I want you to consider is, apart from your homepage, which we've looked at how we can edit using the page builder yesterday, and I'll show you how you can exactly find your two logged in and logged out home pages, how you can set those. is what other pages would be really good for you to have on your website. So I'll give you some examples. Of obviously people tend to have about pages. As instructors, I think that's a page that is often missing from Zenler sites. When I look at Zenler sites, they forget to tell you one of the most important things. If you're an instructor and you're selling courses, that's primarily what Zenler is here for, and you don't actually tell them more than a paragraph on your sales page for your course, a little bit more about you, then you're going to find your conversions are lower, or it's harder to convert people into students, right? This is fact because people need knowledge, right? So they come across you, maybe they find you on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. They've clicked on a link and they're sort of a little bit curious and they want to have a look around your site. And this is generally how it works. So social media, its only real job is to get you to a site. The site's job is to get people to find the information they're looking for, whether that be a blog post, about page, contact page, or a sales page, right? Often people will directly put their sales pages out and then put them out a little early. Funnel pages are really important, obviously, because that's part of the relationship building that we incorporate in what we do as digital entrepreneurs, if you want to describe yourself as that. But we're giving them something for free. So going direct to a sales page is often difficult because you're asking for money too quickly in the relationship. So what other pages do we need within a site that will make it actually quite useful for people to navigate around, to make a choice to where to go next? That's the first thing that you need to ask yourself. And what do you currently have? So it would actually be quite interesting to let me know in the comments, especially for those of you on Zoom and Facebook, what pages currently do you have publicly available for people to look at on your Zenler site? So answer me that one question and let's see where this conversation goes. So this will be interesting. I can tell you that on my own site, I have quite a lot of external pages, as in I have my home page for logged in, logged out. I have an about page and I have my courses. That's all I have on there. And the reason I only have those on there, and I'll explain why. So blog, about me, homepage, courses, right? Okay. About offers, what I do, life coaching. Now, the reason I only have those on there is because we have quite an extensive WordPress site out there that does all of the marketing for us. When they come through into my Zenler site is almost like a confirmation they're in the right place, but they're at the point where they're ready to buy from me. Not many people will have that. Most people will have their Zenler site as their main site. Okay, so you need to think about, and let me talk you through this. On my main site, I have quite a lot more. So I'll have different service pages on there as an example. So if I offer, so for instance, you're a yoga teacher, you're selling yoga courses, you might have, rather than just your courses, you may decide to have an area that has your different types of yoga training that you offer. So that might be in person and online. You might decide to have a really in-depth bio page. You might decide to have a review testimonial page. You might, if you're an artist and you're doing artwork, you might decide to have a showcase page, things like that. So there's lots of different ones that you can have. So you've got about, history, homepage, courses, blog, contact. Okay. So we're getting there. We're sort of making progress, right? So let me share my screen again. Let's go back to where we was. So we're in here. So we're in our dashboard. We've gone to site. Now, we talked about this in session one. We have our home page, which is an important page. So we have it for logged in and logged out users. And this is where we can see which one and allocate which one that we want. So at the moment, I've got it set for home page logged out, home page logged in. And I can save that, and that will therefore, some people when they're logged in, it goes to the my courses. A lot of people will do that because it's easy. They'll just set it as my courses. So when they're logged in, it will just take them through to the courses that they've bought. Because generally speaking, they don't have people that are coming into their system that you want them to buy courses, right? So they've come in, they've bought a course, they've signed up for your site, they come in, the first thing they see when they log in is the course that you want them to access. That makes complete sense, right, to do that. Or does it? And these are the questions you have to ask yourself, as in, what else could you put? Could you edit the My Courses page to make it more engaging for people to come in there? We looked at how the page builder works the other day. So we know how to add blocks in. We know how to add other things in. We know how to make offers within what we do. None of that's difficult. But we tend to fall back on using the defaults that are set there for us. So the place that we find our pages is along here. Now, you'll find I've added extra pages in here, of course, but you'll find there are some that are just the ones that are set up when the system's set up. So the home page is here, the all courses page is here, the privacy policy is here, which is set up for you. Terms of use is here, the login page is here, the register page is here, support cookie policy, calendar page. The other ones, these two, and that one is ones that I've added in. So we've got all of these pages here that we can edit and change, and we can make different. Okay. Now, you won't look at a lot of these pages on a regular basis. Things like the privacy policy page, terms of use page, you may have set them up once. The likelihood is you've probably never gone in there and looked. Yet you're running under these policies. These are published, remember? You're running under these policies and you're assuming that they're correct for your business. So let's just have a look at one of those. By accessing this website hosted in Zenler.com, you're agreeing to be bound by these website terms and conditions. Now, I think you need to seriously, I think your homework for the pages, one part of your homework will be to go in and make sure that your policy and your terms and condition pages are up to date. And I think that's really important. Here these are the bulk standard ones. Links through to different things here. All right, education powered by Zenler. Right, so go in here and make sure your policies are up to date. Now, if you do not have specific terms of business and privacy policy in place, you need to go and source one. You've got the ones here by Zenler, but they're not necessarily the right ones for you and your business and how you operate. So you need to really go and source those out. Very easy to do. You literally find your privacy policy page, you click edit here. And just like David showed you the other day, it opens up the page builder, as we can see, and we can go in and we can add in what we want, put our logos in here if we wish. You know, these are just blocks, as you can see. You can remember the blocks from on Thursday when we went through those. Go in and edit those. That's it. They're done. That's really simple. So they're privacy policy terms of use. Then we've got our home page. Now, on our home page, as I said to you, it's very basic. There's not a lot on there, and we need to build our home page out. Now, remember with your home page, it's very much a case of a home page is the navigation around the site for you. So let's assume this is my logged out homepage. Right, everybody gets to see this. This is the page everybody in the world gets to see. So you may have things here. We've got a dynamic header here. So this shows on every single page that we've got. We understood about dynamic. David talked us through this on Thursday. We've got a little opt-in here to sign up for something. Blah, blah, checklist. That's my example. You love my examples, don't you? Then we've got all courses block here. Again, dynamic. Then we've got a little bit of information here that we can add in. And then we've got our site footer, again, dynamic. So anything we change here will change on every single page that we've got. Okay, so we've got privacy policy, cookie policy. If we edit it, we can see exactly what that looks like. Let me move me out of the way. This is the style we know about those. This is the menu and where we can go in and we can change where they go to, or we can, and indeed we can delete those out. If you want to add a new one in there, then you absolutely can. So we need to go make sure that those are okay. Now, so that's our home page here. Now, if I want to create a login page, I can go, you know what, do my all courses page and go and do that, go and edit it. So when they log in, I can change the introduction to it. So I could put a nice image at the top. Just loading in. All right, so my camera off just to stop the distraction. So this has literally got the all courses block in here. Good. So there's a little video I've got in there. If I wanted to do something, a message to my people. So what would be really nice, a good idea here, is to use it as a way of communicating with your students that are logging in. So you know when they log in, they come to this page. This is a prime opportunity for you to add stuff in here that could be an upsell, it could be the offer of the month, it could be a link to get into your new community that you're launching. You know, right? Maybe you've emailed them all, but they've ignored your email because sometimes that's what people do. You know you've got active members coming into your site, and you want to then say, okay, let's have a look at this. Right, I'm going to put a nice big link up here with a button that's going to get them into my new community or communities. You could add a new page in that lists down different communities that you're running, as an example. We've got a community here, but you might want to add it and make it look different, make it look unique. One of the things that's really good about creating pages from scratch is when you use a platform that's structured like Zenler and you use the blocks that are available, they can become recognizable. So as an example, Thrive Themes, when Thrive Themes first came out, anybody in web design knew exactly when they saw a Thrive Themes site. They'd go, yep, I know the layout on that. That's that template. They only had certain templates going on at the time. It's completely different now. But when they first came out, everyone could recognize what a Thrive Theme website looked like. And if you fail to customize some of your stuff in your site, it will look the same as other sites. And if you've got people that are buying out of the community, for example, it will all look the same. And you want to add your own unique flair to it, right? So think about whether the all courses page is going to be your logged in homepage or not. And if it is, how will you customize it? Now, if it's not, and you don't want to do that, and you want to just leave that as it is, then we can create new pages. So we can add a new page here. It's really, really easy to do. And we get given some options. So this is what we can call it. This is our title. This is what we can call the page. So we could call it reviews as an example. If we've got made up some really nice images or we've got some video testimonials or something like that, and we want to make that a public page. So we could just call it reviews. If it's available, it will let us do it. We've got a general template one here. We've got a general template one, two here, or we can use a blank page. Then we need to click publish this page if we want to make it available, but we can also make it available for all users or only for logged in users. Now, this is where it starts getting interesting as to the control that you have over what you create within Zenler, because not everything is equal. Not everything is for everybody to view all of the time. So what we can do is we can determine, do we want people to see this? Do we want people only logged in to be able to see this? Are we going to make this a bonus for people to have this page only if they're subscribed into my site somehow? So they may have come in via a funnel, they may have come in via buying a product, or whatever way that may well be. This is where you can start actually really tailoring the content that you put on your pages to make it more appropriate for people. So you know if people are logged in, there's a level of relationship there with them. So that could be they've just signed up for something and it's quite new, or it could be they're people that have known you for years and years and years. What you do know is they're not going to be completely cold to you, like a page that's visible for everybody. Okay. So that's quite important. So we can set our page up like that if we wish. We also have the opportunity to set up a page by just cloning it. Okay. So a bit like we can do in courses and things like that, in live classes, and those of you that are familiar with, we could get a page and we can go, right, you know what, my homepage is really cool, but I want to make that a logged in homepage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clone that. And what it will do is it will make a copy for me. So homepage copy, right? I want to go in, maybe adapt the settings on it. So I might want to change the name of it. I definitely want to change the URL of it because I don't want copy on it. It's going to look ugly. And then I can make sure that it's published, and then I can make sure that it's visible only for logged in users. Now we're going to make it a logged in user page anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you have it visible for everybody because we'll make it logged in user page anyway. So that's the other way that we can create pages really, really easily and quickly. And that then begs the question, well, once we've done this, how do we start to make sure that people can get around what we've got quite easily? So if we go back to our normal logged out homepage, let's have a look there again. It's really, really easy. So we talk about dynamic content and non-dynamic content. And if we look at the header up here as an example, we have control over this. So we've got our menu here. So if I wanted to add in a new tab here, I can. But the great thing is I can add a new menu onto my header here. So let's just call it test, right? It doesn't matter what we call it. We can have it visible to none. Not sure why we do that. Logged in or logged out people, right? So if this is on our homepage and it's for everybody to see, we can have it logged in or logged out if we want that to show. So you might only want the blog, for example, to be found by logged in people. I don't know why you would want to do that, but that may be what you want to do. You might have certain testimonials where you only want people that are logged in to see it, or only logged out people to see it, because logged in people don't need to see it. Okay, so it might not be appropriate for them. So we do have complete control over that. Now, of course, when with anything in a menu, we know it's got to go somewhere. It can't not go anywhere. So where do we send them to? Well, we send them to a link. If you don't put a link in there, it won't work, right? It won't come up and it won't allow you to put that into the menu. Now, I often have it as opening a new tab. The way I do that is because it gives me an extra little hit on the site and people can see what's going on. So when people say to us, well, how do I integrate my Zenler site with my external website? This is exactly how you do it. So for example, if you have a blog, right, here, and it's an external blog, you don't have it on Zenler right now, you have it externally. Rather than doing /, so at the end of the URL, you can put in here and it will take you to an internal page, but you can put the full link here of where that is. And anyone that comes onto your site here, if they want to go and read a blog post, it will link over to that. The same as if you have a product elsewhere, or if you want to take them directly to a specific page within your site or a specific funnel. So we talked about, we will be talking about funnels and how they operate. And when we go to a funnel, so let's look over here at our marketing funnels, and people say, well, okay, that's great. I've created this funnel, right? How do I get people to see it, right? Where do they find it? Well, it's easy. You go to your funnel steps, you grab the link here, you stick that in the menu, and that's your opt-in. Right, grab this. It's in a pop-up. You stick the link there. So people can go and find that page. And when they click it, it just takes them to that page. So they can opt in. So it's really straightforward as to how these work. But you have to get your head around the fact that the pages that we create, we can make either visible, logged in, visible, logged out, or one or the other. So only logged out can see it, only logged in can see it. We have a choice of home pages, so we should really have two home pages, and we should set those up. And we've seen where we can set those up by going over to here where it says home page. and that will allow us to be really specific in how we do it. Remember, everything we do online now, we try and be as appropriate as possible. And what I mean by that is we don't want to put an opt-in offer on a homepage for people that are logged in if we know that they've already got that offer. It makes no sense. It just becomes annoying. So an offer really, an opt-in is about getting people involved in what you do. If they're already involved because they're logged in, well, then you want something different in there. So it's a bit like we're doing email marketing. When someone's already on a list, we don't send them entry level opt-ins. We may send them other gifts because they're special, they're logged in, they've decided to commit to being involved in our environment somehow. But we don't send them the same thing as if they've had no contact with us whatsoever. So this very much comes down to planning and strategy. I asked you right at the beginning, what pages have you got? You need to really start to consider now the way people travel through your site. So if they're brand new and you look at it from 2 points of view. So let me just stop sharing for a moment. So you look at it from 2 points of view. The first point of view is this person doesn't know you, they've never met you, they have no real idea who you are. It's the first time maybe they've seen your website, your Zenler site, and they've landed on your homepage, for example. What do they see? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you've got people that are already subscribed to you, a bit like if they're on an email list. They've already subscribed to you. What do you want them to see? So when they come and they're logged into the system, what do they see that's different? And there should be very defined differences. So that's part two of what you need to do today for this workshop. So part one is go through your privacy and your terms pages, make sure they're up to date, make sure they're yours. Really, really important because you're working under those policies if they are public on your Zenler site. So if they are incorrect, you need to make sure they're correct. That's the first thing. That's really important. The second thing is think about the flow for your home pages. And I'm going to leave it with just these two for pages right now. Logged out page, so publicly visible to everybody. Logged in page, people that have logged into your site, what do they say? And see if you can create a really nice, distinguished, different, appropriate logged in page to that's different to your logged out page. And work out what the difference is and why, and then implement it. So that's really easy, right? It doesn't have to be a big change. It might just be the opt-in is different. It might be you do a personalized video to logged in people. Hey, it's the 1st of March, or hey, we're in March now. In March, this is what's going to be happening in here. We're releasing this, we're doing that, we're going to have this going on, we're doing that in our community, etc., etc., etc. Oh, look, I've gone blurry. So that's your second thing that you need to think about. Is this all making sense so far, or am I going so fast that you are not keeping up? Oh, there's lots of comments going on.
Yeah, no, I think it's all right, Kevin. Everyone's talking about because you had your psychotic cat. Everyone jumped on it and was talking about psychotic cats. So it usually means that you've covered everything pace if no one puts any questions in there. So
Good.
fabulous.
Okay, good. Well, that's your work to do outside of this workshop. So I said to you right at the beginning, it's a split workshop today. So that's pages, how pages operate, where you can find pages, difference between logged in, logged out, how you can clone a page, how you can create a new page, and play around with those templates that are in there. It might save you a little bit of time. David's obviously went through the page builder yesterday, so you know how that works if you want to change something in there. We've shown you how to add stuff in from Canva as well. So that page is pretty much covered. Self-explanatory. I've even shown you how to add them in on the menu so you can tie up internally your site with links. And remember, we can do that via buttons. We can do it however we want to do it. But remember, dynamic means everywhere that is on your site. So if you've got that menu and it's dynamic and footer, they're normally dynamic. Every page on your site will, if you change it in one, it will change in all. So remember, that's really, really critical. So we've got that to cover, and that covers pages. So let's move on to blogging, and we're going to have fun with this, right? So blogging, as you know, it was something that came into Zenler 3 years ago now, I think it was. Um, and it's become a pro or premium feature. If you're on a free plan, you won't have access to this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because it's a really important part of how Zenler works. Now, let's be really clear about the functionality of the blog area within Zenler. We've had over the last 3 years probably 200 or 300. Does it work? Can it be found? Will it be in the search engines? What's the point? All of these types of things. So let's head this off at the pass right at the beginning. And those of you that know me know, we've done a lot of blogging work over the last 20 years. It's something that I'm really heavily involved in. So I like to make sure when we talk blogging, it's actually useful from 2 points of view. So firstly, can it be found in a search engine? Not just Google, but there's multiple search engines. And secondly, is it relevant to the reader that's coming along? I.e., is it conversational? Is it friendly? Does it give them the information they want without waffling and all of this type of stuff? So there's only two things you need to think about when you're getting involved in blogging. Really, really easy. Does the Zenler blog cover both parts of that? Well, the content is down to you. I can't teach, well, I can teach you how to do the content. We've done it in the 5-day blogging bootcamp, which is still available if you want to go back through that. So the content will be down to you, how you optimize it, all of that. I'm not covering that today. What I will cover today, though, is how the system handles your blogging content. Will it be indexed? It can certainly be indexed. Can it be found? Yes, it can be found. Will it drive traffic to your Zenler sites? Yes, it will. And how does that all work? So let's get into screen share again, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So here we go. Let's turn my camera off again. So we're in site. Now, for those of you that are on the free plan, don't worry. This is available for Pro and Premium, but remember what I said, that if you don't have access to this right now, you can always link an external blog using the method that we talked about earlier, putting it in a link in the navigation or putting it on a button or whatever you want to do. But this is important because lots of people have gone from a mediocre WordPress blog or a Wix thing or whatever it is, and they've gone, you know what, actually, it makes more sense to build up the domain authority of my Zenler site. And therefore, how I'm going to do that is I'm going to move my blog into Zenler. So they've upgraded on that basis. That choice is completely down to you. All I'm doing is presenting to you the way that it works in here. So let's go down to blog. So handily enough, below homepage and pages. So the first thing that you need to do, and when you set it up for the first time, it won't have this here. It will have a setup button where you have to go and set it up. So we can view our blog here. So let's just view what that looks like. So this is our blog page. So this is where it's hosted. So this is our title for it. We do a little image at the top here, and we can set categories, and it will have like our blog role. For those of you that understand that, where each blog post that comes in is published, it will show it one after the other, after the other, after the other. So that's how our blog looks. Now to edit that, we can go into here, into the settings. We should, and absolutely should, give our blog a title, better than blog. You could call it dog training blog, for example, dog behavior training blog, dog behavior tips, whatever you want to call it. And then give it a description. We then have here our blog home page, which is the one I just showed you. So it has the bit at the top, has little, you can do whatever you want in there. You can put whatever blocks you like in there, right? It's just like any other page. You can do whatever you want in there. But the idea of that is that's where our blog posts are held. So they're one after the other, the little cards, a bit like we've got with all courses where you've got the course cards and you can just click what one you want and then you go and have a look. Same with the blog homepage. And then we have the blog post page. Okay, so this is how it will look for an individual blog post. And we can add stuff in here as well. So blog post content goes in here, got the footer. This is how it is with no editing on it. Okay. Our dynamic header is here because that's for the whole site. Blog post content goes in here, and then we've got our footer in here. We can add all sorts of bits and bobs here. We can add social images, we can add other bits and pieces, we can add a sign up form if we want to, we can add a video if we want to add a video that goes in on the bottom of every single blog post. You can do whatever you want. You could do a standard sign off if you wanted it on every single post. It's entirely up to you. But that will be the framework for how every blog post is delivered. So your content, we'll come onto the content in a minute, is here. Every post will have this menu link here, and every post will have this footer here. And if you want to add extra bits in, then you're more than welcome to add extra bits in. So we want to enable the blog, show post updated date. I always get rid of dates on blog posts. The reason being is people assume blog posts with dates on it means that the content may be out of date, even though the content may be evergreen. So rather than having to worry about it, I just always turn it off, and people can then assume that it's all current content if it's live on that site. So that to me just makes sense. So, but you do have the option there to do it if you wish. We then have our SEO settings. So we start to now get into the areas of how does this get seen externally outside. We had someone ask about this for pages the other day. How do we set up our pages SEO? I didn't actually cover that. I'm going to do a separate video on that. But we do have this for the blog. So, and remember, this is the main blog page. So our page title, what our page description is about, our keywords, key phrases for the blog. So dog training, aggressive dog training, German Shepherd dog training, whatever it is that's going to be the keywords that is about your whole blogging area. And then our social media image. So if somebody gets your page, so your blog homepage, this thing here, and they share it online. So maybe you want to go, look, I've got a really cool blog here, like really cool blogging area. I've got lots of blog posts here that are about this. Go and have a look. And you want to share that there. This is what will be seen in the snippet when you share it on like Facebook and stuff like that. If they come across it in the search engines, that's what they'll see. And that's what will encourage them to click through onto your main blog role. Okay, so really important that you understand what that means. Lots of training's already been done about it. I'm just highlighting it exists, and this is what you need to do when you get involved in this. So that's the blog area. And then of course we've got our blog posts themselves. So when we create a new blog post, and we can have as many as we want. There's no restriction on this. We can write as many blog posts as we want, put them out when we want. We can do whatever we like with this. And this becomes often publicly available information. Often, I say, not always. So we can put our blog post title in here, test post 1. Doesn't matter what we call it. Testing the blog post. A blog posty. Let's call it blog posty. Why not? And then we create. And then this takes us into the blog post itself. So this is our title. This is our blog post description. So this is now for the individual blog post. This is our post URL. You might not like what it's come up with. You might want to change it. It's completely up to you. We can add our authors in here. So it's only me in the site, so it will only ever give me the option. I can add categories here. You'll remember when I shared the blog role, I can limit it by category, so I can only show certain categories. To do that, you've got to actually type a category in. So dog, whatever you want to put in there. And then we have our content that goes in here. Now, people will say to you that content design within a blog post is absolutely critical. It is the be all and end all of the world, and the earth will open up and swallow you up if your blog post design is not done to the nth degree. Rule number 1 of blogging: if the content is good, they don't care. So if your blog post content is good, appropriate, it's not full of waffle, and it's what they're looking for, it gives them the information they crave, they're desperately after, They will not care about the design. So when people say the Zenler blog is restrictive, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, all of that stuff. They forget the golden rule number one. Content is the overarching thing in a blog post that will do all of the heavy lifting for you. If that is right, everything else to people becomes secondary. Okay, so yes, we do our best to make it look good within the system and the constraints of the system that we've got. But when someone starts saying, this is how a Zenler blog post looks against that, how do I make it different? How do I make this design better? It doesn't really, it sort of defeats the objects of what you're trying to achieve. People find your blog post because they're looking for an answer, they're looking for help, they're looking for support, they're looking for something, right? That's why they go to a search engine, and that's why we index our posts into search engines. That's why we share them when people ask a question online, you share, oh, I've got a blog post on that. You share the link because they've asked a question, they come along, they read. If there's nice pictures there and stuff like that, great. If there's not, then people will still read it because they want the answer. However, there are things that we can do in the Zenler blogging area that are really still quite cool. So I'll come back to this one in a minute because it is what it is. So let me go back to the other blog post that I'd already done because that's got a few words in it and it would save me having to rewrite them. So I've got this here, just a couple of lines of text. This is not a blog post. This is just a couple of lines of text. So we can do different things here. Now, I'm sure you've all played around with these. We can format our text, header 1 tags, header 2 tags, header 3s, 4s. That starts to help us lay the content out so it looks good. It doesn't just all have 14-point font in it, all the same size and look like a wall of text. It helps us start to navigate around. The heading 2s and 3s, this is where the SEO starts to kick in and the search engines start to take notice of it, but it's also a really nice reading factor. It stops people from just scrolling through and getting word blind. It means that this is a part of a new section. It's a bit like a new paragraph, however you want to describe it. So the format is really important. Bold is exactly what it says it is, that we highlight something and we click bold and it will make it bold. Same with italic. We highlight something, we make it italic. You can see how it's italic. Italics can be used really sparingly, but they're really good pattern interrupters. So if someone's scanning your content, if they see something either bold or italic, it will naturally stop their brain. Their brain will go, that's different, I'm stopping. So I'm going to look at that. It also stops the robots going through and they say, oh, that's a bit different. What's that? People have suggested that italicizing a keyword is a good idea. It may or may not be. That's completely up to you. But remember, we write for the human being first. So if you have every 10th word in bold or italic, it's going to look really ugly. So try to limit how you use those. We've got strike throughs. We all know what a strike through is. That's really simple to use. We've got lists that we can create. So we can add in lists without indents, ordered lists, etc. We can add our images in. So if we want to add an image in, we can do that. Absolutely not a problem. We can add a table in if you wish a table to go in there. Be interesting to know how many people use the tables in the blogging area because I've yet to come across someone that has. But if you have, let me know. I'll be really curious on that one. A link, we know how a link works. We highlight something, put our link in, insert our link. That's what the URL is. That's what the text is. Again, click open it in a new tab. Good practice. We then got text color. If we want to change the text color, we can do that here. So we can do whatever we want with it. As you can see, it's now yellow. We can increase the size of certain words. If we want to go up to that, we can do that. We've got our alignments. So if we take this whole bit here, we can align center. We all know how that works. Align to the right. Not sure why you'd want to do that unless you've got an image next to it. Align justify and align left. And then we've got a full screen, which just opens it up in full screen. Now, The other thing that we've got is we've got these two little arrows, our HTML. So what this does, and David very, very briefly touched on it with a page builder, if you want to copy a code and replicate a blog or a page or whatever into another one in Zenler, we can take all of this, Control A, Control C, copy it, Control A, Control C, and paste it in. Well, we can add embed codes into this. So if you go to YouTube, you've got your YouTube video and you've got like an iframe of something and it gives you that bit of code and we want to put it into our blog post. We just grab that off of YouTube rather than having to put a link in there and go link, click over to YouTube, and then they can watch it directly into our blog post. And we can do this with other things. So we can do that if you've got other types of software that you want stuff to go into your blog post with. So I'm not going to get too much into that because lots of people don't use it, but it is a really handy thing to just understand what that means. Don't worry about what all of this stuff is because that's how it's all. You can see where it's just I've messed about with the colors and stuff like that, and it's style color there, and you don't need to worry about that. But if you go, right, okay, I've written my blog post, I want to just underneath here add in my video. I just go in there, I've just put them two return lines in there, and I can just go underneath here, go Control V, Control C, Control V, put in the embed for whatever video it is or whatever I want to put in there. And then once I update that, click update, and then come out of it, it will then show. Okay. So that's how that works. So really, really easy to use this. I can add my blog image here. So I can change that there. So it gives you the sizes of what they recommend, 1200 by 675. People are often saying, what's the size of this and how do I do this? Well, that's where you put that. So on our cards that we looked at earlier, where it's got the list and a little description, that's the image that's going to show. Now, when we head over to our settings for our blog post, we've updated that, we've put all of that in, it's all gone, we're all good. It's published at the moment. We can unpublish it if we want, but it's published. We then come over to our settings. So show featured image on our blog post page. Like we want to do that because that's our blog role. It looks good. Now here again, we can control who sees our posts. So anyone can view it, only logged in users or people enrolled in a course. So if you've got supporting content, so you've written a course, it's really good, and you've got people coming in going, you know what, it'll be really handy to know about this or know about that. And it's stuff that maybe is going on that's current. It's, something you don't really want to add into your course, but you want to give them that extra bit of content, but it's not really appropriate to put it in the course. Well, you can create a blog post and you can go, right, if you're enrolled in this course, then you get access to that post. Nobody else will see it, just you. The same with logged in user content. So if you decide you want to make a membership site out of your entire site, you decide you go into that, you go through how to do that, you get people to pay. You might say, actually, as an added bonus for being a subscribed member to my site, every month we're going to add in 2 blog posts for you that will be for just this membership, and that's what it will be. So rather than putting it into the course area or anything like that, we can add it into our blog post area. Or like most people will do, we can have it so anybody can see it. So it's open to the search engines. You don't have to be logged in. It's just naturally available for everybody to be able to see. Now, very much like the page, we've got our SEO settings here. So this is our page title. Of course, we're restricted to characters like we always would be anywhere. It doesn't make any difference. Make sure your page title is correct. Your page description, again, you're restricted to characters. It will tell you when you've run out. And meta keywords, we talked about that. Now, your keywords should be specific to the post. So 5 ways to stop your dog barking. So you do your research, you work out what your keyword is for that type of post. And then your social media image. I've got the same one here, but you'd have one specific for that post. So when it gets shared, when you take that link, or when it gets found in the search engines, then it has the right image that comes up. And then once all that's done, you don't need to worry about the custom code and the HTML code down here. 99.99999% of you will never touch it or need to touch it. And remember, we're going through the introduction to how this works for you. We can preview it. So we want to preview. This is what our post will look like. Got our social links there if we want to add our social links. It's got the author here. I haven't put an image there, but it's got that there. You'll notice that there's no date on this. We've got other social links down the bottom here. And that's what our blog post looks like. As I said, header. Remember how we set the page up with the menu? Post content. So anything I put in that post, and then the footer. Okay. And then when we're ready, we can click publish. This is already published, and then it becomes live on the site. So when we go back to the blog and we look at our blog here, it will then add it here. This is what it looks like. 5 ways to stop your dog barking. Click through, and there we go. So that's blogging, and that's pages. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I've talked for quite some time on this. I think it's time for you all to come on, catch up with the chat, see what's been going on. And let's see if you've got any questions on this. I'm bound to think that there's questions going on. There normally is.
Lots of questions, Kevin, lots of questions.
Remember, and I will say this right from the get-go, and I said it right at the beginning, I like to use the tools as they are. Without that, you can take anything in Zenler and add code in and do this and manipulate stuff around. This workshop is purely focusing on the stuff that's there for you to just click and use. The slight exception was adding that bit of HTML code in for a video from YouTube or something, but there's not any messing about with code on this. There's advanced tricks that we've gone through in different workshops. If you're really into that stuff, go and have a look over on those workshops. They'll help you with that. But this is the introduction for any of you that want to get involved in adjusting your pages or getting into the blogging area. So hopefully that's been pretty useful.
Yeah, we got some questions, Kevin. Shall I field you one? So Jake's got here, I have 100 plus blogs on my old WordPress site. Is there a quick way to copy them all to my Zenler site? So that's the question, to copy them all from one to Zenler.
Get a VA. Because
Yeah, I was saying that the only problem is that they were talking about putting them into a Word document and copying them across from there. And I said, be really careful because it takes on the characteristics of a Word doc when you do that. And we also need to talk about duplicate content as well. So if he's leaving them there, is he even leaving them there?
Yeah, I mean it's the age-old question, isn't it? And you know, if you publish a blog post on your current URL, and your idea is you want to keep that URL and move it into the Zenler blog, then you've got a problem going on, right? Because the search engines will go, well, that exists there. Then suddenly that won't work anymore, but it's still indexed as that, and it will just come up with a 404 error because it doesn't exist. And then it exists over here, and it starts getting confused. In basic terms, what it'll do is go, I don't get it. I'm just going to ignore you. Right, that's in basic terms. So what tends to happen is you either have to go and de-index those pages, do redirects on those pages to a new URL and go, well, it isn't here anymore. It's over here now. Right, and all of that can take some time. So I think if you've got a blog site that is working well currently, what I would do is I would probably transition over by taking each blog post, rewriting the blog post so part content is different. So if you've got if you call them the same thing and they're both on live sites, it will compare and it will go which one has more authority. So as a base level of example, if you write a blog post on how to bathe my psychotic cat, right, that's the name of the blog post. I put it on LinkedIn. I do how to bathe my psychotic cat, put it on my own website. It will index the one on LinkedIn. It will take that as a priority because LinkedIn's domain authority is ridiculous, right? Because it's LinkedIn. And my one doesn't really exist in there, right? So it'll just ignore me, right? It will take that as the priority. So what you need to do is you need to go, right, okay, I've got 100 blog posts. I'm going to sort of keep that going for now. I would rewrite, take the opportunity to rewrite and slightly adjust them, put them onto a new URL, okay? And then maybe look at some point in the future doing redirects over and moving it over to the new one. And I would do it that way. There isn't a quick way of doing it. There just isn't. And it does get a little bit messy if you're not organized with it.
Yeah, and I guess this is why a lot of people have got their WordPress site, like me, and they don't have everything on Zenler because they might have established that WordPress site with a ton of posts. Like Kevin said, on his WordPress site, it's got loads of pages, but on the Zenler site, not, because all the traffic's coming through his main site and he's just sending them off to the course. And he's getting all that traffic. And if Kevin was to shut down that WordPress site, bring it all across to Zenler, it could be disastrous for the traffic, because 404 pages would be flagged all the time. So you've got to be really careful. You've got to balance it. Is it a new WordPress site? Then you might think about doing it. If it's established and you're getting a lot of traffic, if you're getting no traffic through it and it's established, still worth doing it. But if you're getting a lot of traffic through it, then no, I wouldn't.
The other thing is as well that you've got to consider is anybody linking to those blog posts? So would I, if I knew a cat supplier, for example, of cat harnesses, I don't know, and they found my how to bathe a psychotic cat blog post, right? Have they linked into my post? And then suddenly I've moved it. I've not told them because I didn't know that link existed, and therefore they're getting a broken link on their site, which is not going to make them too happy. Right. So that's especially with older sites that have been around for a while, it's not just what's happening for you, but it's also where have you shared those links? What's potentially sending that to you? It's not just search engines, it could be Facebook posts, it could be people putting them out in emails, it could be anything. Other
Could be in
sites,
a course, couldn't it? It could be embedded
yeah.
in a lesson of a course. I mean, and then you're going to track all of those down.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare. It would be a complete nightmare. So most people will let it run its course, and then build from new, take the content, readapt the content, and then maybe over time look at actually, is it possible even to do redirects on it so you don't get those broken links. But it's not an easy process.
Yeah. We got another question from Jane, Kevin, and that is: can you? And you know, this it's a feature basically. Can you write several blog posts and schedule them? I guess on Zenler when they are to be published.
We don't have a scheduler on Zenler, do we? It's either in draft or it's publish.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd really like to see a scheduler go in there because I'm a big proponent of batch writing. So write 10 blog posts, schedule them, forget about it. But maybe that's something that needs to be re-looked at because maybe it's possible to do it. We do it with email broadcasts. We can schedule those. We can schedule quite a few things in Zenler. So I don't know how difficult that is, but I can certainly bring it up to the development team and see if that's something that's on the cards, maybe. Because I
Yeah,
think
it's already in the feature list. It's already in the feedback. People have requested that, but of course that's all based on users upvoting stuff. For you guys that didn't know, on our feedback site, people put their requests in, and if it's upvoted, it's got a high number of upvotes. It obviously takes priority to go in development. Of course, we're working on lots of other things as well.
I'll give it go in and give it a boost, and I will mention it anyway because it might be something that's reasonably easy to do, but it can be a bit of a pain. The other way of doing it is just going in, leaving it all unpublished, and then just when you want to publish it, go in and click post. I know it's a little bit, you've got to go back in and do it again, but if you're really focused on building your Zenler site, you're going to be in there 3, 4, 5 times at least a week, right? If it's that important to your business. So probably not a big deal to go in and just click publish.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. There's not many other questions. Got any questions, guys? I think Kevin's opened the camera up for you, so you can pop on and ask him live.
Oh, hang on. I don't think I have actually.
I think that was my job.
That's all right. Unmute yourselves. I wondered why we was talking to ourselves. There we go. I was sitting
Okay,
there thinking, nobody's bothered coming on today. What's going on? Have I upset them all? They've all gone to sleep.
I have a question. This is Avril.
Hello, Avril.
You know how in WordPress the sitemap is automatically created? Is that the same in Zenler, or do you have to do it for each blog post?
Well, that's quite interesting because as far as I'm aware, we still have to manually go and update the sitemap.
Okay.
That hasn't changed, has it, David?
No, that will happen though, that will automatically. But you need to remember, it's a very good point. When you sometimes people want to, I kind of like the manual control, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes I might have a page that's public, but I don't want it listed. So on the obviously this, if you haven't recreated it, the sitemap, it's not going to get listed on the sitemap and less chance of it getting picked up. So sometimes I'll use it to base test, and then once I've got it all sorted out, then I'll go and then I'll actually recreate the sitemap. So if you go into site and then you go across to settings, you're going to see inside the tab, you're going to see sitemap, and if you click that, recreate it. If you guys haven't recreated it yet, you need to make sure. So anytime you do a new blog post, it will come up with a big message telling you recreate your sitemap, and then it will appear in there and give Google. Now, even if it's not recreated, Google can still find it, but you need to recreate it in there. With communities, now you're going to see there's two sitemaps, one for the pages and blogs, and there's another separate XML sitemap that's generated for communities. Now the communities ones gets updated automatically, okay? So you don't have to worry about that one. Just when you're looking at your pages or any of your blogs, make sure you recreate the sitemap. One little caveat here, marketing funnels do not get added to the sitemap because you want to keep them locked down, okay? But you can go on to Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and manually submit the opt-in page for the marketing funnel. And we've got courses on that. We've got basic marketing in tutorials. Just go to tutorials.newzenler.com, then just go to the marketing tab and click on the basic marketing course, and it shows everything in there you need to know.
I had another question, but it was in relation to the first part of the presentation when you were talking about the pages. Can I ask that now?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so I have a membership site. I have 3 tiers of membership, but I wasn't sure how to set it up, so the default is just 1. So like how would you do something like that?
So you've got 3 memberships.
Okay, I have 3 tiers of membership, right?
Okay.
But I didn't understand how to set it up. So let's say you have all courses. I was wondering if the tiers should be under that, or where exactly should it go so people know that there are 3 levels of membership.
So are you saying that you want a different page showing per tier of membership? Is that what you're
Whichever
saying?
way is easiest to do. I have 3 levels of membership, but I wasn't sure how to set it up. So there's only one tier that's showing. Like I've created it in the background, but I don't know how to publish it in a way that makes sense.
I'm not sure I
I
understand.
I get what Avril means, but you're going to have to, because any of your we're talking about pages and blogs today. So Kevin's
Okay.
going to be doing 2 editions on courses. So I'm
Okay.
sure that Kevin's going to cover tiers then. So I'm not going to distract it until Kevin gets on
Okay,
to
that's
those
fine.
workshops.
I guess I was confused about the pages. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi. Yeah, thanks, Kevin and David, for working on Saturday.
That's all right.
I'm just looking at Sabrina's question, and I've got a similar question because I partly support my son, an artist. Can you use the blog as a gallery? Like, can you upload multiple pictures in a blog?
You can have as many in there as you wish.
Okay.
Personally, what would be the purpose of doing it in a blog post against doing it on a page?
Because I noticed that you can share. I just did a little test. I noticed you can share your blog to your Facebook page, for example. So it's a nice way of multitasking. So might like to share, oh look, this is the latest work I've done, and then share it. It's then in two places straight away.
See, I would probably do it slightly differently.
Okay.
And what I would do is probably create a gallery page. Okay.
Okay.
And then within the page, have each of your artwork in there that links through to a blog post. Yeah.
Okay.
So when they look at the whole page, they go, "Oh, I like that one." Click on it, and then opens a
Yeah.
blog post, and that's got all of the details about that one particular piece of art.
Yeah. Yeah. That
I would
sounds
do it
nice,
that way.
because you can then say like why I painted this, and then share that. So that
And you
way you've
could,
got integrated.
well, that way you can share either one. You can either share the one specific piece of art, or you can share the collection, which may be a page of, let's say, bridges, or a
Yeah.
page that's trees, for example. I don't know. So all of the tree artwork will be on one page, but when you click to each individual one, it would just like have an image and then a very brief title, click through, blog post, right? But all of the trees are on one page. If you don't do it that way, what happens is it will look a little bit messy in the blog roll.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Yeah.
can filter it, but they might want to see more than one piece, right? They might want to go, actually, have you got any other artwork that you've done that's like this
And then you can direct them back to the page of the gallery.
page?
Is
Yeah.
that a one of the templates you were showing Thursday, the gallery? If I want to create a gallery, is it a page? How do I do it?
Yeah. We haven't got a template for a gallery page, have we, David? I don't think.
No, but it's a series of rows with columns. Drop an image in.
Yeah.
Link the image
Okay.
to the blog post. Personally, though, right. So that's one way to do it. I think it's a really good way of doing it. And if you look at our tutorial site, we've kind of done the same thing. We've now broken the tutorial site up into 4 different areas. Learn Zenler. These are the courses for you to learn Zenler. We've got marketing, lives, and we've got everything else. Now that has been broken out. If you look at the tutorial site, you could just, instead of like having it as courses, you could just have it as your images with a little bit of information in there. And then, like Kevin said, you can then have a jump link straight into the blog. Now, from the blog, you can backlink back into the gallery page. So you're doing an internal cross link between the two. What is the advantage of this? Kevin's already mentioned blogs are SEO'd. So it's going to be picked up on each photograph. Your son is going to talk about the art and how it's created and the media used and how you can buy it and the size of it. So all of that's going to be picked up by the search engines. But not only that, that main root page, the gallery page that Kevin was talking about, is also being picked up on the search engine. So you're giving yourself maximum visibility and you're using the system to how it is supposed to be used. Now there's another way of doing it as well. I'm quickly going to tell you now. Social media, Pinterest is really good for images. You could do, in that way you're covering 2 things. You're setting up boards on site on Pinterest and putting your images in there, and inside the images, where are you linking them to? To each individual blog. So that's how you could do it as well. So that's like 3 options in there for you.
It's really great. Thank you so much. That's
That's all
brilliant.
right. Right, we got any more questions?
Anyone got any questions? Ellie, you've normally got a question. You've not got a question today. we got a few people on there. We got Francis. Isn't Francis in here as well? So Francis is saying, I'm not sure if it's a question or not. My main site is a Wix site. So you can click on courses and it brings them to the Zenler site. I have courses on the separate pages on the Zenler platform for live tutors or self-paced courses. No, it doesn't relate to blogs. So I think you've covered everything, Kevin, because there's not many questions coming in relating to blog side.
Oh, good. I'm glad we've covered quite a bit for you. As I say, the whole purpose of the tour of Zenler is to get you thinking about using these areas and understanding where you find it, where you can change stuff. Remember the little bit of work you've got to go off and do after today. Go and check your pages and the pages that are publicly available, the privacy page, your terms page, because you may well be operating under the standard Zenler one, in which case you need to go in and edit those and make sure they're up to date. And then just look at a logged in and logged out homepage and what that might look like differently for your students, and for people that are coming in that don't know you. I think they're quite easy ones to get your head round to start you off with. I'm not going to set you go off and do blog posts, because some of you in here, we've already found out, some of you are on free plans and some are not. But everybody can access the pages, right? So you can all go off and have a little play around with that. Put it into the main Facebook group. So into the Zenler Facebook group, if you've gone and made 2 pages, put that in there and tell us what the difference is between the two. Why have you done it? What's the difference between the logged in and logged out, and what you're hoping to achieve, not for only your business, but also for your students that are logged in. Right?
Yeah.
What are the new people that are not logged in? What will they get? What's the purpose of that? And that might be the opt-in form is different. And then when they come in and they're logged in, you give them some form of something else. Maybe they get a coupon code to buy any of your courses as they're logged in for 30% off or something. I don't know. That's only available to people logged in that have committed to you. You know, something like that.
Yeah, so a screen grab. So that's what Ellie was asking about. I think you've answered it. Yeah. So to do a screen grab of the logged out page and the logged in page and put it into the group.
And just tell us what the difference is. What have you made different between the 2 pages? That's it. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, you might have already done it, guys. It might be even simpler.
Yeah, maybe.
So write a blog post. If you've done it already, write a blog post.
But it might be something you've not looked at for some time. We get a lot of people come in that have been with Zenler 4, 5, 6, 7 years. They've set stuff up and then forgot about going back and looking at it again. So you might be seeing it from your remember, you see what you see from your admin perspective isn't necessarily what other people see. So if you're logged in and you're looking at your homepage, then you're not seeing the same thing as people that are maybe logged out and looking at your homepage, and you may have forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think that was really good advice to go through the pages as well, because there's a lot of pages in there that people don't touch. It's like Kevin said, it's like the cookie policies and the terms. Like people just maybe have a look at it when they first open a site, go, oh, the terms are already in there, and then you just jump straight back out. But I go so far as, and I say this if I'm doing any of these pages builds, I say go through every single page. Because I guarantee you guys, I guarantee that at least one of you has got the Zenler logo on your unsubscribe or subscribe page. I guarantee you always have. There's always one of you. So tell me if I'm wrong. I got 100%. Nope, we've done it. Not the guys that are regular. You've probably already done it because I've told you 3 or 4 times. But have a look, every page, every single page. Yeah.
And it's really easy and quick to do. Just make sure that when you go in and edit that you don't rely on the autosave. Just make sure that you update the page and save it. There's nothing worse than sitting there slogging away on something and thinking it's saved and it's just not done it. That's really frustrating. So make sure you do hit the save on it, just to make sure that it's taken through okay. And you'll be all good. And that shouldn't take you that long. But these are details, and I think one of the really important things is you've got to remember, although you're familiar with your own Zenler site, what does it look like for someone that's looking at it from the first point of view ever? Right? They've just found your site because someone shared it or they found it somewhere online, and they come in and then they suddenly click on what's your privacy policy? And it comes up with Zenler, da da da, and they go, what? Then they focus on that and not you. It's really easy to forget these things. So yeah, it's a good exercise to go through if you've not done it. And of course, we've had such a lot of new people come in the last 3 months. They've probably not been through this at all.
Yeah, yeah, and you're going to see that we're going to be bringing these sort of things up a lot during the other series as well. We're going to be saying, have you checked those things? You know, if Mamit's talking about emails and these sort of things, have you checked your system emails? You know, have you made them your own? And it's a lot of that is that because people come in, the system set up, but basically it's your content and you need to look and see every single part of it.
Yeah, there is a unsubscribe page.
Yeah. However, I want to make one thing clear here. If you came in later, what happened was Zenler dropped a new feature in which was granular unsubscribe. Do you remember, guys? So that meant it bypassed the unsubscribe and the subscribe page. So in effect, you could actually unpublish those pages because they're still being found by search engines. So I just say that the logo's probably not changed, but those pages are kind of redundant now because you've got a granular unsubscribe. So, you know, if you click the unsubscribe, you get a list come up like, do you want to unsubscribe from all, or this funnel, or this, or this, or this? So that's how we handle it now. So those pages are dead. So new people that come in, they have a site and they no longer have those pages. But you older guys, not in age, right, or spirit, I mean, you guys that have been with us for ages, you will have those pages in there. So you can, if you want to, unpublish them or even delete them because you don't need them anymore.
Yeah. Good point. Cool. Right. I think we're all done then for today. Tuesday we're back. And Tuesday we have, I believe it's Mamie on Tuesday. And we are going to be looking at the live areas within Zenler. So all of the live aspects of Zenler, we're going to look at the calendar, we're going to look at the different ways of using it, why we use it, you know, the one-to-ones through to live streams, all of that stuff. Again, the page builder comes in useful for this. So that's really good. But a lot of the setup on these things is similar, but the why we use the different ones and how we use them will be slightly different. So Mamit's going to walk us through that on Tuesday, so get ready for that. Again, if you are a free user and you don't have access to the live area, it will be really good for you to come along and get an understanding of just how powerful that is. Lots and lots of people, I forget how many hundreds of thousands of hours we used. Rakesh told us the other day, didn't he, David?
Yeah, it was a crazy number, wasn't it?
Ridiculous number of hours are being used on the live area by Zenler users. It's massively popular. You know, so it's good to get a really good level of understanding as to what its capability is. And again, I think there's been updates to Zoom. Obviously, we have little control over Zoom itself, but it is part of the live area. We use it via Zoom. So we do need to have a level of understanding of that as well. But yeah, we're going to cover that Tuesday with Mamie. I get to sit back and be David and look after the comments and stuff for the session, whilst Mamie takes us all through that. So I'm looking forward to that one. So if you are about Tuesday, hop on. 1 o'clock as usual GMT, and then we start next week, and we've got I think after that one, then we're on to finish up the week. We're doing courses, so I'll be taking you through to over 2 sessions the course area. So that's one's going to be around how we set all of the course stuff up, and one's going to be about what's incorporated within a course. So they're going to, because they're big areas, we're going to separate them two out, just to not overwhelm people, I think. So yeah, look out for that. So it's going to be a great week next week. And remember, do your homepage and logged in, logged out, screenshot them, stick them on a post on Facebook, let everybody else know what you're up to. One of the reasons we ask you to do that, and if you want to put a link up to your site as well, feel free to do so, because we've got 9,000-10,000 people in that group, right? It's not going to hurt for people to click through onto your sites and go and have a look. So if you've done what we've asked you to do, stick your link up to your homepage as well and get people going and having a nose. You just never quite know who's in there looking at what, right? So yeah, you with our permission, by all means, go and do that during the course of this workshop. Right, David,
Sorry,
I'm
just to
done.
clarify then. So all you're saying is just take 2 snapshots of your home, logged in, logged out. So you've got 2 pictures, and then in your post, put a link to your home page. Yeah.
Yeah, and say how you like the workshop as well,
Of
so that
course.
people know the context of it. Otherwise,
Of course.
otherwise admin will delete it. It's self-promotion.
Of course.
If you're clever, you could do a spot the difference.
Yeah, like a Find Wally. Does it
Yeah.
find Wally?
Let's spot the difference between the logged in, logged out. That would be quite
Okay.
cool.
All right. Cool. Cool.
I'll leave it up to you to get imaginative with it.
Yeah,
But
that'll
yeah,
be good for a new one, won't it? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
cool. Right, we're going to wrap up. Listen, enjoy the rest of your Saturdays wherever you are, whatever time it is. Thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it as always. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back next week. So the next workshop date is Tuesday, 1 p.m. GMT. You will get an email if you're signed up. If you're here, you probably are signed up to the funnel. Just giving you the links to come back in. And myself and Manmeet on Tuesday. We'll look forward to seeing you then. So have a great one, everyone. See you later.